to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucius, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience. Yes, sir. We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
Hi, lovely people. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Athletics LLC, episode 45. 45. That's crazy. Good thing Clyde and I are not old enough to know what that number is yet, so we're okay.
This show
already.
Our version of 45 will be much better than the typical version of 45 that we're familiar with.
Okay. Well, as you've noticed all, we have a guest, and this is what the surprise was last week that we announced, and we are super excited to have Mr. Paul Doyle with us, and he's gonna, endure a little bit with our tiles and endure some questions. So before we move on, I will make sure that we are all familiar with the other three tiles on the screen. First, Sir Lucius. Sir, how are you?
I'm doing very well, ma'am. How are you?
I am well. Clyde?
Good evening.
I was going to say what's on the tie. I couldn't see. Oh, Gina.
That's right. Good evening.
Oh, Lord.
Ready to go.
I love it. And last but definitely not least, the longest name on the panel, Lamar Pseudo Gator, Field and Track.
See, you have to really show them what the whole t-shirt says. You just can't be bouncing around.
Okay, so I got gifts from Gainesville. There we go. See, is that better? Everybody can see the full shirt now.
That is very nice. Nice.
One size too small, apparently.
Really? No, I'm just fat. Okay. Thank you, light skin.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my goodness.
I'm gonna tie that tie a little tighter.
So, anyhow, best behavior, gentlemen, best behavior. We have guests and company.
We can't act up in front of company. My bad.
I know, right? We're in the white room, sir. We're in the white room. Stop it.
Okay, sorry.
Well, let's get things started and get the ball rolling. I will say, Mr. Lamar, what question do you have for Mr. Doyle here?
For the most influential person in 2021 in the entire world of track and field? Absolutely. Yes, I gave you the proper introduction. First of all, before we go any further, on behalf of this entire show and this entire panel, and it's interesting that you haven't watched this show, so I guess we know the answer. He wasn't listening to us, but we have been clamoring for what you had the stones to go out and do since like week 3. So what, 42 weeks ago or 41 weeks ago? So first of all, on behalf of this entire show, and what should be the really, really grateful world and American in particular track and field landscape, we all say thank you for what we're going to imagine is a tremendous amount of hard work and sleepless nights and hand wringing and teeth gnashing, because nothing gets done in this sport without all those things. So without further ado, I'm going to ask a simple question just to get us started. Okay. There's always been this misnomer that you can't get track on TV, right? Mm-hmm. How many times we've all been told that for like the last 30 years. So here's the question. How did you not only get track on TV in a pandemic, but get, wait for it, track on TV on Super Bowl Sunday?
Yeah, that's nice, isn't it? We're the perfect pregame.
That's tremendous. And so I got to know how you did that.
A little bit of luck, but a lot of work, a lot of hard work. I mean, the first American track leagues were on ESPN in 2016. We did 2 shows leading into the Rio Olympics. And since then, there has not been a professional track meet on TV since our first meet there. So there was a 4.5 year hiatus of professional track and field on ESPN. Of course, there's been a bunch of college meets on ESPN. How did I do it? Persistence. It's we've all last year we were trying to get a big event, a major event on ESPN. We were trying to get anybody to pick it up. When we knew the Olympics were going to be canceled, or when the Olympics were possibly going to be canceled, we already started pushing for an alternative event to the Olympics. We had been talking with a lot of different celebrities to be hosts and things like that. We had a massive budget. We had multi-sports, track and field, swimming, beach volleyball, various locations were on board for this. And we just could not get a network to commit. But
nobody would bite on that?
Everybody was inches away from biting. But we had all of the stars lined up. I mean, we actually had Conor McGregor set up to host. We had Michael Phelps ready to host. All the best swimmers, all the best track athletes, you know, everybody was on board in principle. And we had the advertisers saying, yeah, they wanted to do it, but we need to know the platform it's going to be on. And we had the platform saying, we need the advertisers' commitment in order to commit to you guys. And we just could never get everyone to talk together and commit to it. But they heard from us on a daily basis through all of 2020. So when this idea came about to run an indoor series of meets, we reached out to our contacts at ESPN, and the woman that I worked through back in 2016, Kathy Cook, we hadn't actually spoken to about this other event. We'd gone to the very, very top at ESPN, and I decided, you know what, let me work the contacts I have this way. And we asked them, we said, hey, this is what we're proposing. This is what we have in mind. These are the athletes we think we can get involved in this program. And they said, okay, that sounds good. Let us push it through. And it was weeks and weeks and weeks went on, and we were planning different locations. We were originally going to do it at 4 different locations. And as time went on and we got closer and closer to the holidays, I started thinking, well, maybe we need to forget about this 4-meet series and just commit to 1 meet. We were going to do 1 meet in Chicago. We started talking to Chicago, and we were all on board to, let's just put on 1 really good meet. And right then, ESPN calls right before Christmas, says, okay, we got your 4 meets scheduled. I'm like, perfect. Looks like we're doing 4 meets again. So then we, scrambled, make it happen. And because of COVID, it looked like Arkansas was the least likely location to get canceled. They wanted to have the meets there. We wanted a secure location that we could have them. And, thank God for Wallace Spearman being the mayor of Fayetteville, Arkansas, because he opened up a lot of doors for us.
He is that.
Of course. Yep. So, yeah, so that's sort of how it came to be. And then, you mentioned sleepless nights at the start. That's when the stress really began. Here we are right before Christmas, and we've got four meets scheduled, and we got to find sponsors because we don't have a single dollar of sponsorship coming into that. But we negotiated a good deal with ESPN. I think it may be the best deal ever for track and field on TV in America, where we had, and I hate to say, I'm like an open book. I'm transparent. So what we were able to negotiate, a lot of television commercial inventory to give to sponsors. And based on what we had back in 2016 and the dollar figure we were getting for ad spots then, I thought, wow, we've doubled our ad spots. We have a decreased budget because we're going with a lower cost production group, which unfortunately showed in the first meet. And it's indoors, so there's less people, less events. So our budget's in half of what it was in 2016, and we've got double the commercial inventory. So I said, hey, this could be great. Mm-hmm. We can actually pull this thing off. And as days went on, I realized how much the pandemic has hit a lot of the companies, and their advertising budgets have been shot. And if you're not coming to them 3 months ahead of an event, they don't want to talk to you because their money's already spent. So here we were coming into week 1, and without a single dollar of sponsorship, we pulled off that first meet, literally not a dollar. And,
wow,
I think a lot of people are giving me props for taking the chance and doing that, but it wouldn't happen without these athletes stepping up and saying, hey, we need this. I'm going to compete. I'm not going to take my normal appearance fee. I'm not going to run for the prize money. I'm going to compete because I need to compete. And, us as agents, one of the big big tasks that we have is convincing these shoe companies to pay top dollar for the athletes. And the reason they do is because they get exposure for the brand. Well, if there's no track meets for them to compete and no track meets on TV, how do they get exposure? How can we justify these 6-figure deals for our clients if there's no platform for them to get exposure for the brands?
Say it again louder for the people in the back.
Yep.
Track needs to be on TV. Need
Yep.
you guys all understand that.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, I don't take up all the time, so jump on in there, Clyde.
I appreciate all the details in that, and I'm sure the audience will as well. It's very interesting. In all that you just said, the one thing I didn't hear you say was USATF. What role have they played in that? Do you feel like they are appropriately supporting this endeavor in the way that they should be?
Let's put it this way. I'm a proud guy, and if people want to help me, I'm gladly going to accept it. But at the same time, I don't expect it, right? And I've laid my bed, and I'm going to sleep in it. And if I've bitten off more than I can chew, and people aren't going to step up to help me out, well, I suffer the consequences, and I'm okay with that. So, you know, USATF is under no obligation to support me. You know, a lot of people think they should, and they are now, which is great. And I welcome every little bit of help we can get. But at the same time, I'm going to go at it alone if I have to. So, but I'm very thankful that they have stepped up now, you know, so they have come in and they're helping us. Obviously with the TV production was the big thing that they stepped up and wanted to help with, because, you know, we got a lot of flack on that first production, and the guys that did the production worked their butts off and they were great people, really worked hard. They did the best they could. They got really unlucky with a lot of flaws in the system that popped up at the last second. Communications broke down between the broadcast booth and the production booth. So people didn't know when we were going to commercial. They didn't know what event was coming up next. And we had different roles that people were supposed to be playing, and they ended up becoming messengers, running back and forth between the two booths and counting in from commercial and stuff like that. So it was mayhem, I'll admit, on the first one. And, you know, USATF has stepped up and hired a new production team to help us out and run the show. And you saw the difference. If you saw Meet 1 to Meet 2, it was light and day, the difference. So
yeah, but I'll say this, Paul, like I always say this about, you know, athletes. The best thing about freshmen is that they become sophomores. Like the most important thing was to have the first meet. And we kind of talked about it on this show, like no complaining. That's literally what we said before the first one. Yeah. No complaining, because it's on television and the meet's being had and you didn't have to do it. Yeah. Right. And so, you know, everybody who wanted to talk to me about, well, this happened, or, you know, so-and-so wasn't any good and all this other stuff. And I was like, again, I'm going to say, you don't get to complain because somebody felt like the sport was bigger than them and was willing to put themselves on the line and make it happen. Now, the good fortune is because you did the first one, people stepped up and the second one was much better. And at the end of the day, right, we never get to the second one if the first one doesn't happen. So
of course. Yeah. And the third one is going to be great. And we just a few hours ago got our viewing figures for number 2 compared to number 1, and worlds better. And we went from ESPN 1 to ESPN 2 as well, which is usually a kickback in the coverage. And we went way up. They said ESPN said the fan engagement was unbelievable. The amount of time that people stuck around and watched the show. He says it's really showing that you're developing a very dedicated fan base. So we're really excited about this time slot we have for number 3. Really excited about the athletes that are competing. We got a bunch of really cool storylines in there. Looking for a couple world records potentially as well. So yeah, I think there's a lot of positive things that are going to continue in week 3, and we actually have solid sponsorships in week 3 as well.
Well, you know what? That's amazing, and that's great to hear. But it speaks to the point, right? We all hated, at least all of us here, we all hated the people who were out there trying to complain about Meet 1. And whatever they wanted to say about production and all that, it was the performance of the athletes that shined through and therefore brought the audience to the next thing. Like, what do you mean you open the season with a world record? Oh my God, what's going on in Arkansas? We need to watch this.
Yep.
Like, so, bravo. I thought it was great.
Thank you.
I don't know if this is in the works, and if it is, I guess great minds think alike, but it would be dope if there was a football 40 on Super Bowl Sunday.
We might be getting a split. We'll put it that way.
Oh, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Sir Lucius.
I just want to say thank you, for all your hard work and your efforts and getting this thing going. And like everybody else on here, I didn't want to hear any complaints. I think that, the first one had to happen and then it snowballs. But I guess for me, this has kind of all been spawned by the pandemic. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're all prayerful that the pandemic eventually goes away. Mm-hmm. But when the pandemic goes away, will this continue? Is there an avenue for have the American Track League Series every year indoors here, so our athletes don't have to jump on planes and go to Europe every winter to get things done?
I mean, absolutely. I understand that this maybe has been sparked by the pandemic, and we look at it as a blessing in disguise for track and field. It's definitely not a blessing, period. But anyways, for track and field, this might be what opened the door to get us on TV. There's less content to compete with right now. But the email I got from ESPN today reviewing the figures and the joy that he had in his voice when he talked to me about how it went and how excited he was for his friends to be seeing the show and how proud he was that he played a part in getting track and field on TV, means to me it's here to stay. The ESPN being thrilled with it means when we come out of this pandemic and there's other things happening, we're going to be high on the priority list. So this does continue for sure. I think we've got a great partnership developing with ESPN. They're excited about it. We're excited about it. We're going to do nothing but keep adding events to it. We're going to do outdoor events. We're going to do this whole indoor series. We're going to do street events and things like that. And we'll probably be on all the different platforms. We can do a lot of our street events on the 3, live streaming and stuff like that. We've already did a meet this past summer in 2020, July 2020, on their YouTube channel, just the Sandy Morris backyard pole vault competition.
Oh yeah.
So I think this thing is really starting to gain momentum. American Track League sort of was an idea I had 21 years ago, or 22 years ago now, 1999. I drew up my first. It was the Atlanta Track and Field Festival was the idea I had, and I scripted out an entire meet with live music, bikini contests, like fan engagement, all these ideas that I had that may or may not pass in today's world, but there was definitely this idea of an American Track League with different exciting pieces added in and that sort of thing. So yeah, it will continue. It definitely will continue. But I feel like after all these years of thinking about it, putting in the hard work, pumping literally over $1 million into getting this thing off the ground, I really feel like we're turning the corner this week. Like the sponsors coming on board, the props from ESPN, I think it's really come to light that this has a future.
If we, Mr. EP, if we have time, I'd like to throw one more thing to Mr. Doyle.
Go for it.
Given what you just said, do you see yourself on some kind of evolutionary path where this becomes more of what it is you do versus the management of athletes? Because you're doing this in a way that's no one else is doing.
Yeah, absolutely. As of January 1 of this year, I stepped down as CEO of Doyle Management Group.
Oh, wow. Look at that. We broke some news.
Endeavors.
Breaking news out here.
So my boy, Robbie Hughes, is now the man in charge at Doyle Management Group. So
okay,
Robbie is taking over the leadership role. Yeah, Robbie's been with me 20 years. So yeah, I hope he's with us 20 more years. But yeah, Robbie's taken over the role of CEO. So he's handling more of the day-to-day management of the athletes. I'm still going to be very, very involved, especially on the contract side of things and on the recruitment side of things. But I see that there's so many more avenues of business for our athletes and for the sport, for the American Track League, for, I don't know if you caught the the media company World's Greatest that's had some advertisements on the show, working very closely with them in developing media strategy for the sport as well. So yeah, one thing, I don't have a firm commitment, but I'm going to go ahead and say it anyways. But the fourth meet on ESPN, we've moved a week later. So we're now going to fill that void that was left by the U.S. Indoor Championships being canceled. So we're going to be on the 21st will be our fourth meet, which leaves the 14th open still. We moved to the 21st so we wouldn't conflict with Boston and, you know, pulling athletes in different directions, changing events and that sort of thing. So we'll be on the 21st instead. But ESPN still wants to fill that void on the 14th. So we're actually going to try and do a track and field show that would be a highlight reel from the first three meets, but then also diving into the backgrounds of the athletes, looking behind the scenes, doing athlete profiles and things like that. So if we get that thing approved, which is, it could happen any minute. When I check my phone, maybe it's already in there, this gets approved. But I think that is even something even bigger for track and field. Imagine a show like that being on ESPN in one in prime time.
I know a show that you can put on ESPN.
The LLC.
We've been asked that a bunch of times, and I think we're actually ready for prime time now. We're almost a year in.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, you just got nervous. I want to let you know that. Choose palms are sweating profusely right now.
I'm saying you're gonna give two a heart attack, but Paul, that is amazing news, and we've said it on the show before. It's not just about shooting the races, right? Like the storytelling is the piece that's missing. And I think if the national audience started to learn who these people are and their backgrounds and what they come from and what they do, like that's the key to unlocking everything. So great idea.
Yeah.
Well, real talk though, Paul, offline, we can definitely talk about that, because I've got some interest in that.
Okay.
That will be good.
Oh my gosh.
So Big League, you get to ask Dr. Doyle a question. I mean, you know.
I have the hugest frog in my throat right now just by that last statement. So I'm gonna hard pass on that one. I need to be able to get some air.
There's no more people in the world that will watch television than there are that watch this show.
Okay.
You can ask him the simple exit question if you want to. You ask him about Sunday.
Yes, and that was okay. If you're gonna let that one qualify, I'll qualify that one. So, who do you got on Sunday?
All right, so I'm gonna divulge way too much information here, but if you go into my security questions on my bank account,
oh my gosh,
one of the questions is who's going to win the Super Bowl, and my answer is the Patriots, right? So that should lead you to what my answer is. No, I'm a born and raised Boston boy. I've lived in Atlanta for more than half my life now, but you can't get the Boston out of me. And when Tom Brady left and went to Tampa Bay, I was sick to my stomach. I wrote him off. He was dead to me. I was angry. I was more angry at Gronk, actually, to be honest. But you can't start to hate somebody you've loved for 20 years, right? So I actually caught myself. I actually caught myself. Maybe not in football, but I caught myself at, I don't know what was the wild card weekend, saying to my wife, "Hey, we got to get home by 6. The Patriots are on." I'm like, "Oh no, it's not the Patriots." So yeah, I've come around. So Tom Brady, the GOAT, will go for number 7 for sure.
Oh boy.
I mean, he lost 28-24 in the regular season, right, to KC, and he doesn't do the same thing. He doesn't make the same mistake twice.
I tell you what,
I've told them all every week. They didn't want to listen to me.
I hope I live long enough for anyone to love me as much as all of y'all love Tom Brady. I don't think my kids love me as much as people love Tom Brady.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
oh my goodness.
before we let you go,
Yeah.
we do again have to say thank you for all of your hard work and your due diligence, and more importantly for you getting what we try to push on this show a lot, which is that the sport is bigger than any one of us. And you know, for a moment you put the sport on your shoulders and carried it, and you know, look, everybody needs to properly recognize you for that, because just to be completely honest, like, you know, you stood in $1 million gap and made it happen. And there just aren't a lot of people that have the thought pattern, the desire, the financial capital, or the pull to start trying to have this happen. So, you know, we get a lot of props for this show, but trust me, this show didn't cost us anywhere near what yours does.
Well, I thank you for that, but I got to put this on a lot of other people too, because the University of Arkansas stepped up and helped us out. The timing, everybody has stepped up and helped out, and most importantly, the athletes. You know, and I've got athletes that deserve a lot more money than I'm able to pay them. Stepping up and realizing, hey, we need to do this. You know, to me, that's really where the credit should lay. So, thanks to the athletes, thanks for you guys for supporting it and talking solid about it and getting my back in a lot of these situations we've gotten into. So thank you guys.
Hey, we only shoot it straight around here, buddy.
Well, I appreciate it.
Trust me, we have dissected a few people in the sport a couple times on this show.
Right.
On record.
Oh, absolutely.
So everyone be watching pregame this
Right?
week.
Yes, Sunday at 4. Sunday at 4. I can't wait. So, well, thank you very much for all of your time. Have a great night. Don't work too hard.
Yeah,
well,
thank you.
Yes, but thank you so much and have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Bye.
Thanks.
Good night, Paul.
Yep.
Night, Paul.
Oh,
Anybody else fired up?
I know, right? Well,
We
still
broke
sweating.
news. We broke news. That's crazy.
A lot.
Well, so Chu, get yourself ready, because you know that I'm going to talk us on to ESPN, right?
Oh my gosh.
Like, what's it say? It's happening.
It's happening. That's all I gotta say. Well, anyways, okay, I'll collect myself. I'll pick everything up off the ground and put it back in. But so let's hear your guys. I mean, not that we don't know what your Super Bowl picks are, but they have been adjusted slightly with this end result going into the 7th, right? Yeah, the 7th. So do you want me to go over what we went over in the past? Or do you just want to go ahead and restate claim now?
Nah, just
we're ready to
go
restate
ahead.
claim.
Got
Who
it.
is them?
Go ahead.
I mean, you don't need to talk. We know where you're at. And if we're
No,
going to be honest,
please let him talk. Let him get it off his chest.
if we're going to be honest, you know, I don't need to talk. Listen, the day before my fantasy football draft, I said that the Chiefs and Tampa were going to play for the Super Bowl, because at the time, nobody had played. And why would you think that Tom Brady and the crew weren't going to get? I mean, Tom Brady is a Grand Canyon size better than Jameis Winston, right? And if Jameis can throw 30 touchdowns to that group, and now you're adding people to it and Tom Brady, like, why not? So I certainly am not going to change my thought process now. I thought that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs were the best team in football then. I still do, right? When they played games, I thought the Packers were better than Tampa. But the point is, I picked this game before any football was played, and I picked the Chiefs to win. So I'm not going to change. I've been on the Chiefs winning since what, August?
Now, Lucius, are you gonna let him get away with what he just tried to do?
I didn't try to do anything.
No, I'm not. Look,
Are
that's
you
a
gonna
grown
let
man.
him get away with that?
That's a grown man. If you got angst with
Green
him,
Bay lost to your boy.
Why are you trying to get me to do your job? Handle
Oh
your
no, I'm
business.
happy to do it.
I was trying to do. I stated look. My claim hasn't changed, right? This contest comes down to who wins the Super Bowl, because you and I are tied by ways of prognostication. So at the end of the day, you picked TB12 and the crew, and I picked me and the homies, right? So like, what's changed?
What changed, sir? Now, because of, show integrity and production value and all of that, we took a break from talking about the playoffs conveniently after the championship games were played. So we have yet to come on the show and address the fact of what you just tried to pull, which is way back when we weren't making picks. I picked KC and the Bucks, but you on camera picking Green Bay.
Oh, absolutely. I picked Green Bay. I did. And me and my man Aaron Rodgers, we had to have some drinks last week, and we needed some time to think.
So you don't get to
look,
not
we
address.
had some brown.
Yeah, so you don't get to not address all that nonsense you were talking about what Aaron Rodgers was going to do and act like you picked the Green Bay and you know what I mean? You don't get to skip
Aaron Rodgers to lose to KC. So at the end of the day, my champion is still playing. Am I right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yes, indeed. Yes, sir.
Okay, so let's.
All right,
Sir Lucius, where you at, sir?
As you were.
I'm good.
Oh, so you're not gonna claim to have picked this game?
No, okay, hold on a second. I said this before, and I'll say it again. This is between you and him. Leave me out of it. Y'all have that. Because what I'm not gonna do is I'm not gonna go and then let your petty behind go last, because that's what you want.
Oh no, I'm happy. Listen, I'm happy to go now. It's fine.
So go ahead. You have issue with what he said. Deal with it. Yeah, no, I'm going to calmly sit here and watch the show.
I got you. I couldn't let him escape out the back door like that. That would have been, inappropriate. Listen, me and Lamar are tied in our prognostication poll at this point. Props to him, sir, for being in the position. The Super Bowl will decide it. He's obviously got KC. I obviously have Tom Brady and the Bucks. That's obvious.
No, you just have Tom Brady. I don't even think you care if the Bucks win. Tom Brady versus the world.
Yeah, I'm with that. I ain't got no problem with that. I'm good with all of that.
You are all about Tampa Bay. I got
Tampa Bay. I'm with all of that. My thing is, listen, I picked the Bills to take out KC. I tried to play the hot hand at the time. I got that one wrong. 1 for 1 is 1 for 1. The one I really cared about, I got right. So I'm very happy that this is the situation. All I can tell you, it's set up perfectly. They beat the number 2 defense. They took out Drew Brees, took out Aaron Rodgers. And at 43 years old, now he's going to take out the pseudo baby goat who's getting a lot of hype way too early.
So here's the question. When this game's over, will you show up on this screen with the Patrick Mahomes jersey on?
No, I don't purchase NFL gear, but I'll, you know what I mean? If you send me something, listen, listen, I don't dislike Patrick Mahomes. I'm a fan of Mahomes. I think he's phenomenal. But he's getting a lot of hype that he hasn't earned yet.
I don't know how he hasn't earned it, but
okay. I mean,
what I'm saying is this, like, because you don't want to hear this, but like Patrick Mahomes is getting hype that his physical abilities have earned. Tom Brady is getting a tremendous amount of hype that his defense has earned him. Tom Brady's an incredible quarterback. Let's be clear. He is probably the reason that the defense is playing better. He's probably the reason that Bruce.
Now you say that.
No, I'm giving it to you. But what I'm saying to you is, right, your claim that Patrick Mahomes is getting a lot of shine prematurely makes no sense, because you can only be based on what you've done, right? So in the first 3 years he's been in the NFL, who's better? I'll wait.
No. It's the best start to a career ever. Full stop. No problem with that. Praise him for that. Don't start talking about if they somehow win this ring, which would be number 2, that he's already in the discussion of being the greatest of all time. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I mean, 2 rings in 3 years it's not a ridiculous prognostication to think that he would get to 6. I'm just saying it's not a ridiculous thought, right?
But sir, that's not what I'm saying, and you know that that's not what the talk is. The talk is, if he wins this weekend, by Monday we can anoint him the greatest of all time. That is ridiculous.
Nobody who has any real skin in the game is saying that. Talking heads.
I'll send you the clips.
Talking heads are supposed to say that, right? They like you're supposed to be a shock jock on TV. Like, you got to have these hot takes.
All right.
I mean, look, hot take. This just in. Patrick Mahomes is probably more talented than just about anybody who's played the game. But we got a lot of football left to play.
Yes. That's all I'm saying. Don't Denny Green style. You want to crown him? Go ahead and crown him. games got to get played first.
So Lucius, I think the air is cleared enough for you to answer.
I know it's always entertaining to listen to this. I obviously I'm the worst picker on the show, so. But,
no,
that's
just because you love the Browns. That's okay. There's nothing wrong.
I said this from the beginning. If I'm correct, I picked the Chiefs versus the Packers. I did. So I still got one team left in the thing. So I mean, do I think that it'll be a great game? Yeah, I think that obviously Tampa will be tough to beat at home. Unlike some people, I do believe that Mr. Brady's good. I don't think he's the reason why they're winning these games solely. But the man's leadership is incredible. But I could care less if they were playing the weak sisters of the poor. I'm not rooting for Tom Brady in the Tampa Bay Bucks. So I'm good.
I hear you.
Go Chiefs. See, the Chiefs got better with me when they stopped doing this, right? This is stuff that
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got a lot better with me when they stopped that mess. So.
Yes.
And that's all I got.
All right. It's been documented.
Book
We're in. Close that book.
So I have a question before we get too far, out of this realm of sports. When football is done, are we gonna have this level of vitriol for any other sports? Like, are y'all fans enough of basketball or fans enough of baseball that we can have these same kind of heated conversations?
Listen, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go in on the Three Stooges in Brooklyn anytime you want. Ready.
Here's all I'm gonna say about the Brooklyn experiment. My father is a diehard Nets fan, and he hates the thought of Kyrie Irving and James Harden on the same court. Hates it. So I don't even know what else there is to say. Like, if the guy who loves the Nets doesn't like the Nets, I don't know what else I don't know what I have to say about that.
I will also promise the three of you, if it helps the show, I will invent vitriol for hockey season. Don't know nothing about it, but I'll fake it.
So I'll just tell you all, look, if it comes to hockey, this is all you do. Do whatever little bit of research you want during the regular season, and then pick the team with the hottest goalie when it goes to the playoffs. Because the regular season means almost nothing as it pertains to who wins the Stanley Cup.
Kind of like the NBA.
No, way worse. Because literally, if the 8 seed has the hottest goalie, like literally you should put money on them.
Duly noted.
Yes. I'm sure. I can't wait for someone to sound off on that one.
Right? If the goalie's standing on his head, like, it just is what it is, man. That's a hockey term for doing great things. Sorry.
Yeah.
What's up next, Chu? What's going on?
I know. Like, we're gonna move on. So maybe not the most PC way to state this, but I'm going to state it as it's said because I think we all can understand and hear what is being said and asked of. So for the white sprinters of our population, why are there so few represented in our sport? There is a presence in Europe. Here, a very small population, now noting of Matt Bowling, prior times, Jeremy Warner. We've also seen clips of Devin Quinn recently and whatnot. What are your takes on this?
Football. Money. It's where, we follow money. There's no football in Europe. And when you got a kid that's fast and he's got some size to him, he's going to go to football. And let's be realistic. How many of the great African-American sprinters do you look at and go, why isn't that guy on the football field? Right? So for me, I think, most of those athletes are pushed towards football. They buy into the stereotype that white men aren't fast or are not fast enough. And so they go to places like baseball, football, and, probably even some go to basketball, because those are the money-making sports. And they don't think they can make a living in track and field.
I don't disagree, but I think part of what also feeds into that, just to be honest, is like profiling and racial bias. Like, when those kids come out to the track to do track at like 8, 9, 10 years old, and the four kids come walking down the hills, 1 white kid and 3 black kids, Joe age group coach starts the white kid in the 800 or the mile without ever seeing them do anything. And or worse, that self-selection happens in the kid's home, right? The white kid's fast. He always has been fast. And everybody in his family was like, yeah, but you're not fast. You're not like fast. You're not like track fast. Like, maybe you should try to run the 400, or maybe you could run the 8, because they don't believe he's like fast. And I always say, like, this is the funny part, because I've always been this way. If you go to a track meet and all the sprint kids come out and they go to set their blocks, and one of those kids is white, you should probably bet your money on that kid, because that kid has been the underdog all of his life, and he knows nobody thinks he's fast. And if he's still out there, that means he's fast.
It's
before you start out there throwing your money around, you better make sure you're at the right track meet before you start doing that.
I mean, clearly,
this is an interesting subject matter, and true, if I'm not mistaken, this is one of those that came from our audience, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Mr. Conway Hill.
Thanks for the assist, sir. So it's interesting. We all 100% agree with what Lucia said. Why are there less talents? Because of other sports that pay more money and better opportunities in those sports to make money, do what you do. That part of it is obvious, and that is not a racial issue, because that is exactly the exact reality for all cultures in this sport. We lose the best of our talents on the men's side to our other sports. That's a thing. What Lamar was discussing, I think, is absolutely true. I think I've seen it in person back in my club days. I think our sport is an interesting flip into racial dynamics on that particular issue, right? There is a lot of bias. There is a lot of white kids can't sprint, ingrained in people's heads. And obviously it's not true. And I think that kids are often pushed to other events because of that, subconscious bias that we all carry. Interestingly enough, though, when you do have a Caucasian kid who can sprint, somehow, some way, it goes back to regular order of our society, where they are showered with incredible hype versus their counterparts who have run equal, if not faster, and never get the same type of attention. The first example of that I remember, that was so clear to me, because I was in high school when it happened, was Casey Combest.
Oh, yes.
Casey Combest broke an indoor record. I think it was in the 50-meter dash or the 55. And all of a sudden, he was going to be the next Olympic gold medalist in the 100. This little white kid from Kentucky. And he was great. And he was fast. And the hype machine was incredible. They flew him out to Arcadia Invitational. And Darryl Doe, Kareem Kelly, and the boys from Long Beach Poly put a hurting on that kid in the 100 meters, clowned him up and down the track. Darryl Doe did the airplane back up the 100 meters, and that was the end of Casey Combest. But the buildup to that was like, this dude is the best thing ever. He's breaking all the records. And it's interesting to me that dynamic still finds a way into the minutia of our sport. Our sport is defined. There's clocks. You know what people have done. I don't understand why we need to overhype or oversell an athlete's performance strictly because of their skin color. And it's an interesting dynamic that I still see playing out. Jeremy Warner was phenomenal. Matthew Bowling is phenomenal. And because Matthew is the young one right now that's hot in the street, I hope to see the boy go off and make an Olympic team, win the NCAAs, do whatever it is his heart desires. But until he does, there was an article out today talking about he's going to challenge Wade Van Niekerk for the world record in the 400. I'm like, how did we go there? So like, can we pause on the hype and just wait and see how these things play out?
Got it.
That's really well said. And I will tell you the subtle racial bias I've always seen in our sport is about talent and work ethic. And the prototypical comment about Caucasian kids is they're gym rats and they work really hard. And the prototypical rhetoric about African American kids is that they're just so gifted and they're just so talented. And the truth of the matter is, look, man, if you're good enough to be in the Olympics, you are both of those things. You are physically gifted and you almost certainly work very hard. It's tough to be an Olympian, especially an Olympic finalist or Olympic semifinalist, and not be both of those things. So at the end of the day, like, we would all do ourselves, and I don't mean anybody on this show, but just as a rule, we would all do ourselves a huge service to just coach the kids you see. Like, when the kid comes out, have them do some things, and based on the times, like, coach them up. If the kid's 275 or 278 and a fly 30, hey, guess what? I don't care if he's green, he can run.
Indeed.
Got it. Well, here's a not similar, but kind of in the same scope type question. We see that the larger metropolitan cities of the big states, so of the biggest track and field states, are California, Texas, Florida, are producing talent. Yet San Francisco, Seattle, New York, Detroit only produce occasional talent, spotty talent of that nature. Why is this? Because in theory, if I don't want to call them cities, the places of volume should have a greater amount of numbers, just based off numbers, right? So why are we not seeing that?
I can't speak for places that I haven't lived in, because for me, I think the answer to this question speaks to a lot about the culture that surrounds the sport in said cities, right? I'm a Bay Area kid. I grew up in the Bay Area.
Nope.
Nope.
We're frozen.
Are we all frozen?
No. We'll give him a second.
Just Charles, just Clyde.
Yeah. So, Sir Lucius and Lamar.
There was
Oh, there you. Okay, you're back.
Oh,
Yeah.
I froze.
You did.
Yes, sir.
Sorry,
We
I have to
got
say that
man.
again.
None of that.
Okay. My bad.
We
Do it like
heard-
this.
Yeah,
Okay,
we heard
well,
you're a Bay Area kid.
what I was saying was I can't speak for places I didn't grow up in. And I grew up in the Bay Area. When I was growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area, Oakland, Richmond, all of these places, all the way out to Sacramento, track and field, the culture of track and field was a big, important thing. There were unlimited amount of clubs. There were real coaches pushing that track and field was a legitimate thing for the youth to be doing. The football coaches were all involved in getting kids out to run. And when I was in high school, the Bay Area club teams would go to nationals and dominate. Okay. Our B team ran 40 flat in the 4x1. Our A team ran 39.7. Like San Francisco Senators, AC Track Club, 3M, all these things from 8 years old all the way up to high school. It was every year we were churning out high level talents. I don't know if all the coaches got old and decided not to do it anymore. I don't know if they straight up retired. I don't know if they moved on to other endeavors. I know some of them are now working, big time football and all this other stuff. But once the culture of track and field in the Bay fell off the map and all the talent, moved away from the cities, because cost of living goes up, everybody starts moving further out east. The culture is largely dead. And until some reputable coaches care enough to try to bring it back at that kind of scale, you're not going to see it. And it's a shame because there's so many talented kids. There really are. But that, for me, that's what it all comes down to, the culture of the cities. Houston, Texas cares about track. Los Angeles, for the greater portion, still cares about track. Atlanta cares. Miami cares. Bay Area doesn't really care right now.
I agree. I think that, where there's passion, there's success. There's no passion in those areas, there's not many success in those areas. And so I think that, I witnessed, I actually was a part of a person that helped start track clubs here in town, and track got better. Then that went away, and then Coach Fry and his wife Wilma, mostly his wife Wilma, started it up again, and it rolled away. And we're a very small community here in Gainesville, because there was emphasis placed on it, because there was a passion behind it to get it going. And then there was an avenue of, if you do well in track, you can go to college. If you do well in track, you can better your life. So I would suspect that in those areas that, again, this is a Conway Hill question, that Conway's questioning, is that the passion for the sport's not in those areas.
Yeah, obviously I would piggyback on both of those very well stated points. I think I would go one step further to say that, part of the problem you have in major metropolises like New York City is there's not enough space for a track. Like, there are very few tracks in a place like New York. And sometimes it's just not having, not having one of those around eliminates like the passion for it, right? Everybody knows about, the New York Athletic Club and the New York Roadrunners Club, because they can run around in Central Park, because they don't have to be indoors on a 200 or 400 meter, 200 meter oval or 400 meter oval outside. Chicago, in order to have great track and field in the city of Chicago, you would have to have a huge number of indoor tracks, because clearly the outdoor tracks are just not going to get used that often to justify the cost of it. So, there's some issues, both real and imagined, about it. But I think the passion part that the two of you have harped on so eloquently is probably the root to it all, is that track's a big deal where track is a big deal. That's just kind of it. Track is still a big deal in Southern California. It's still a big deal in Atlanta, Georgia. It's still a big deal in Miami, Florida, and other places in Florida. Tampa to be one as well. Track's still a big deal in Ohio. And yes, it still turns out, and so, like, at the end of the day, like, passion is going to come from what you put in front of people, and for every Wilma Fry, there's probably like 50 kids that go on from that track club to end up doing track in college. So if you take away a Wilma Fry of the world, right? Like 3M track club is nowhere as big as it used to be, right? When you take away those clubs, you take away like hundreds of kids who thought that track was an avenue to get to a better life.
And you know what? And you're absolutely right about that. There's a little bit of the, was it Field of Dreams? If you build it, they will come kind of syndrome, right? Anybody on the West Coast that cares about track, if people put some dollars together and did what the city of Birmingham, Alabama did, and built a facility like Chicago just built, do we need an indoor facility? No, we don't. We got beautiful weather and beaches and all that. But if you build that facility, one, you're going to make millions off of it, because everybody on the West Coast is going to want to travel there for their meets. But the everyday engagement of the community will see that that opportunity is there and something's cool, and they'll get it done, just like Doyle did with the ATL. Like, there's a speck of land 10 minutes outside my front door that would be perfect for an indoor facility. I don't have the money to do something like that, but people do. Like, you have to focus on it. And like that, when I moved back to the Bay, watching from afar for all these years, that was probably the saddest part of it for me, because I know how real this sport used to be. I know it was a fight every summer to see who was going to recruit the best summer club team for their relays, who was going to put together the best group to go and take on the Texans and the Floridians. And when you have dedicated people who really, really focus on that and make it a priority, it'll come back because the talent is there. You know, New York is largely a basketball city. It's always going to be a basketball city. But that don't mean that there ain't kids there that can run their asses off. They absolutely exist. Philly used to have an amazing track culture.
Amazing.
Doesn't seem to be as hot as it used to be. Like, you know, it's possible, and it should all come back.
Well said, well said. I do wonder, and I'm going to ask this question and then we'll move on. Do you feel that the leadership of track and field in those areas also has an absence now? So I know that you've all stated to an extent that the presence of track and field, but the leaders, is that on part of the leaders or of the kids and their parents? Like, you know, of course, you know,
it's the leadership. I mean, that's what starts it all.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, like
go ahead. Sorry.
So without leadership, you have no structure, and I think that's the problem. Like you have to have a very passionate leader to jumpstart it, and then with that leader comes people that follow behind the leader that also want to be passionate about helping the kids. Now, I've spoken on the show before about Terry Davis, and Terry Davis was the first person to start the Gainesville Striders, and her passion was unmatched. Like we're not going to tell her that it wasn't going to happen. And then I watched Wilma rekindle it, and Wilma's passion was, just unbelievable. And they reached out in the community. They got parents to help. They got high school coaches to help. And so that leadership created the whole thing. So you're absolutely right. There's no leadership. There's no shot.
You know, and the problem that happens with our sport, right, is our sport is so kind of myopic and passionate that this happens a lot. Like, our greatness gets older and then gets out and isn't replaced. Like, you know, listen, whether people are paying attention to this or not, the United States track and field is bumping up against a humongous problem, and that is officials. Because the average age of officials has gone from the 50s to the 60s to the 70s. And let me tell you something, when the average age of the officials is in the 80s, we got a problem, right? And so the same thing happens with leadership, right? Like, look, I live in a small community in West Lafayette, Indiana, right? But the guy who's kind of got his finger on all the pulse of all things track and field is a guy named Lane Custer. Lane Custer has been coaching at West Lafayette Junior Senior High School since before I was in college. He's still coaching at West Lafayette Junior Senior High School, and he still has the Purdue area track club. And my 8-year-old, like, you know, he's as juiced in the summer to go run with and for Lane Custer as he is having met John Carlos. As a matter of fact, he's probably more juiced. Right? But that's because that's Lane, and he's still, after 47 years, he's still fired up, and the little kids all like glom to him. Well, the issue is this: if someone doesn't pick up the baton when Lane is done running, right, all of that's going to go away. That's, you know, therein lies the issue that has happened. Like, look, New York used to have a track and field culture, because there used to be track meets at Pratt Institute, right? There used to be a lot of indoor track that was run in New York. And so at the end of the day, like, this is unfortunately what happens in our sport, is that if we don't get a younger person and we don't get younger people to follow in line with the older passionate folk, it goes away, because eventually it's like they get tired and got to put it down. And I get it. You know, I get it.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, I brought that up because, you know, as we grew up in the Bay Area, it was so strong, as you stated, Clyde. And then people got bigger. They got bigger, better jobs. The kids who were running got older, and they went on to their 4-year institutions. And as the coaches got older, who were still sticking around, they've now retired. and like there's just a big gap to be filled. And so the challenge to all of you out there who are running these age group clubs and whatnots is to keep it up and keep allowing for the populations of kids to keep running so that it can be a powerhouse again and create the passion, not just to make them fast to go to baseball, basketball, football, create the passion for track and field.
It's really, really important. And seriously, as a Bay Area issue, first of all, if you're a fan of track, if you care about the sport, you should all take time to figure out what you can do to learn to become a certified official, because the official point is very, very real. It's very, very real. Even if you were like a person with a normal job, you got a random Saturday or something that you're available, go get certified to be an official and help fill that void. But man, and you know this, and we won't get too.
Oh no.
We lost him again. Got that Bay Area Wi-Fi.
Because they're having weather. They're having weather, so everything's shutting.
See, Sir Lucius is messing me up because I keep thinking he's frozen because he's actually sitting still.
I froze again. I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm on bad Wi-Fi today. I don't know. What was the last thing you heard me say?
You had said for you and I growing up in the Bay Area, and then
so for us growing up here, the original infrastructure of leadership definitely, got older, retired, went on about off to new things. It wasn't replaced. And then a lot, and I mean a lot, because it's been in the news, a lot of people that tried to replace it were people of low character that did a lot of bad things to a lot of kids. So we need reputable people to step up and build that culture back up. And I know they're out there. So like, balls in y'all court, like, get it done.
Absolutely. Well, now that we'll all get off our high chairs now and come back to the people's place. And
is it that time?
It is that time. I was going to say, is everybody buckled in? I found my cheat sheet so we can proceed. See, look, now Lucius is ready now. He's adjusted the seat.
Yeah, I mean, I just love the absolute craziness of the public banter that occurs after these things. So.
Yes.
This has been amazing.
It has been.
Can we address the results though?
Okay.
I mean, please go ahead, Captain.
Let's address what Diaperland thinks. That's fine.
So
I'm 3 for 3 on Twitter polls around here. That's all I'm saying. 3 for 3.
For the polls, for the chatter, Clyde was the unanimous winner on all social media platforms posted for the men's and the women's 4x1. But the women's actually, was it the women's or the men's? You and Lucius were really close. But it's
very close, as it should have been.
And
as it should have.
There were a lot of communications about such relays and whatnot. We did have a request as to whether we would go into the reasonings for the legs and why and whatnot. So maybe that'll be for another show, because we will be here for 3 hours if we do that, in addition to the 4x4 fantasy draft.
Let's get it.
So
what's the order?
Gosh.
Right. What's the order? That is the question.
Yeah, that's the question.
The order is, okay.
Come on, you don't be losing stuff.
I know. No, I had it. I just had to make sure I had to pick up the right paper. So for the women's fantasy draft, it'll be Lamar, Lucius, Clyde, then me. And then for the men's round, it'll be Lucius, Clyde, myself, and then Lamar bringing up the rear. So again, we will serpentine through it. So you'll get that double pick on 4 and 8.
None of us seem happy about this.
So I picked first on the women's 4x4.
Yes, sir.
And I picked second.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh my goodness gracious.
This is gonna be a mess. This is gonna be a full mess. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is gonna be a battle royale. Okay, well, I'm not gonna overthink this one, and I'm gonna take Allison.
I'm shocked that you did that.
I know, but I can't overthink it because I picked first.
Okay, and I'm not gonna overthink this either, but I'm gonna take the big girl, Kratochvilova.
Kratochvilova?
Yep,
for sure.
I can't even write down her name.
This is so.
Just write Yarmy.
Yeah, just call her Yarmy. That's what Chris calls her, Yarmy.
Yarmi. Yarmy.
Yarmy. I made a horrible attempt at pronouncing her last name because I didn't want to call her Yarmy. So
you did okay. It's Kratochvilova. You did a great job.
I was really hoping that y'all were gonna let me off the hook of my moral dilemma here. And do dirty work for me. I was really hoping that y'all were gonna do that.
Nope.
Golly. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I'm gonna take Perec because I'm not going that other direction.
So I am. I will.
Oh, you need redemption anyway, Chu. You go ahead.
I'm taking Nasser.
You taking who?
I'm taking
Nasser.
Yeah, that was not the pick any of us were thinking about, but go ahead.
No, I'm going, well, I don't know that I will go there. Okay.
Okay, you can explain yourself later. Just go ahead and make
it.
Right.
You got another pick.
Don't let them get you flustered, Big League. Don't.
Wait.
Oh, not
flustered. Is she going to do it for us? Is she going to do it? She took Nasser and who?
Oh, I'm going for Kathy Freeman.
Okay.
That's actually that's a good pick.
It's a good pick. That's a good pick.
I'm
gonna go ahead and take. I'm gonna go ahead and take Shawnee.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna do that.
Is back on me now?
Why not?
Yes,
back
sir.
on me now?
Yes.
Sir. I'm Marita Coke.
There you go. You go ahead.
I mean, absolutely. You know what? I'm taking FloJo. So.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
I think
you
we're
got
good.
2 picks.
I know. I had to let that one marinate for a second. Oh man. There's so many ways to go with this. Sir Lucius took my 2 sleeper internationals that I thought people would forget about.
Or just
you know
not choose.
I'm old, so yeah.
I mean that's also factual. You know what? I'm gonna take Valerie Briscoe. I think she was Valerie Briscoe Hooks then.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about this relay. Not gonna lie.
I don't know why you do, but
really you don't.
Because I'm going to curb stomp you. I know. I told you that already.
Okay. Whatever, buddy. I got 247 legs. What are we talking about? You're definitely not curb stomping me.
Okay.
I mean, you do have 2 open 47 legs, though.
You have 0 47s, by the way. But go ahead.
No. Yes, I do.
Hold on a second. Whose turn is it? Is it my turn again?
Yes, sir. I was going to let the banter happen to see what it said.
So let me just go ahead and take my third 47. And I'm going to butcher this name, Brigida, that held off FloJo in the relay.
Oh, geez.
Wait,
so now
who?
I've got 3 47s.
Who did you pick?
I can't say her last name. She's the Russian that held
Team
off
Russia.
FloJo.
Right.
And split faster than FloJo did, by the way.
Let's be clear. She, first of all, did not split faster. Secondly, much more importantly,
yes, she did.
You know, and I know that the IAAF was all about that. I'm going to let FloJo run 45.9 like she can.
Anyway, that day she split faster.
I'm not going to tell her.
Okay, so
you better not go behind.
I'm clearly going to win this relay. You guys got no shot. So go ahead.
I'm gonna stick to my morally integrity relay. I'm gonna take Sonya.
Did you say your moral integrity relay?
Yeah,
what is that? Your way?
I'm gonna take Sonya.
That's his way of saying I'm going to take a beating, but I'm going to be morally correct. Yeah, that's what that is.
I'm definitely losing this race. I'm definitely losing.
You're getting curb stomped, guys.
No doubt. No doubt. Not exactly by, you know.
Hey, the rules are the rules. Anybody living,
That's
dead,
right. Living or dead. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You open up the can of worms.
Indeed.
Hey, listen.
Chew,
You
on the
did
clock
it
again?
before I could, so that's all I can
Chew's
say.
on the clock.
I am. I'm flustered. Do I take her? Do I not take her?
Go
You should take
ahead.
it.
You gotta take two anyway.
I do. Okay.
So take one of the two.
I'm gonna take Sid, and then I'll take.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
It's not a bad pick.
You taking
No,
who?
it's not a bad pick.
taking
You're taking
Sid.
Sidney McLaughlin.
Well, that's not a bad pick. It's not gonna help.
And
you
then-
that's not a bad pick.
And then
It'll help you with the fans are going to show up to watch Sid. You know,
I mean, this is true.
because that's what they do.
Paparazzi is definitely showing up for that. So.
Yep. And then I forgot her name. Gosh, dog it. Oh my gosh, 400 meter hurler.
What
Where's she
country?
from?
Here.
We're
Delilah?
not helping you with an
Delilah?
American. Don't help her with an American.
No. It wasn't Delilah. It was.
You
Gosh,
can't help her
dog
with
it.
an American. You better call an American foreign hurdler's name.
You sure better, because I'm lost.
I am. I know.
I mean,
And it
I
was,
know
There's
what
so
she
many.
wants to say, but I refuse to help her.
I do too, and I can't help.
I hate you guys. Damn it.
Don't hate me, because I don't know who you want to call. So. All right, the Jeopardy music is about to start.
It is. I know. I can't type fast enough.
Where's the clock? This is not.
He's got
Come
it.
on, big league.
forgot to start it.
We're gonna give you somebody on your team for you.
I know. I
It'd be like the
know.
auto pick.
Well,
Dang
I
it.
mean, wasn't Chew
I'm
on
just
auto
going
pick
with-
last time?
Hey, sure. I'm just gonna go with Delilah because I can't think of her name, and that's the one that I can't think
Were
of.
you trying to say? Okay, your pick is Delilah. Were you trying to say Lashenda Demons?
Yes.
Of course she was.
Right. Of course. So you get Delilah though.
I do get Delilah, and I'm not upset. It's just who I was not thinking of that.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and take Ana Gubara.
And so now I would just like everybody to just go ahead and mail me the gold medal, because you have now given me the four fastest women in history on a relay split. So I'm going to take Nazarova.
Yep.
So if you and your minions pick against me this time, okay, whatever.
Oh,
Oh.
oh, jeez.
I guess like which order do I run? Who runs 47 first?
Lucius, listen, this is what's happening. That euphoric feeling that you have right now, exactly the same feeling I had with the women.
I don't know why. I don't know why.
Oh my God.
They said all mine are.
Because
Oh,
you're diaper dandies. That's why you run that.
oh God.
Okay.
I
Mr.
know.
Lamont.
I have to pick a person to finish off this wonderful relay. I'm getting the silver medal, clearly. Oh,
I don't know if that's clear, but
are you
we're
kidding
definitely
me?
not winning.
Okay, the only other legs who can run 47 are on my team. They're not on yours.
We talking about a split, brother. We ain't talking about out the hole.
What I'm talking about. God,
I got two 47 splits.
No, you don't.
I got Perec and I got Lebo.
They never run 47 before.
yeah, Perec is
Really?
definitely
Because the
48.
Bahamian-
She's
Really?
48, 2 or 3.
Because the Bahamian
Really?
national team and the French team were really trying to
Okay,
run relays at that time.
okay, hold on a second. They've never done it before.
Okay, well if you can run 48-2 open, I feel like you can split 47.
She's never done it before.
I hear you.
But this is a fantasy draft. You're right. So it's your
It
fantasy.
is.
Yeah.
It is.
Okay, so we need to put the clock on you now, sir.
Yes.
Unfortunately,
Jeez, it's not that hard.
Ends your
While he's
misery.
thinking, I found my other list that had the names on it. So now I'm
Go ahead and take Cinder.
You know what? I find I will take Lucinda because at least I know she's gonna be a dog and run fast.
But you didn't want Tonique Williams, darling.
I did not want Tonique. No.
Okay, so here's some names that the people out there. What about Privalova?
So I started to say Privalova, but I thought I didn't want to ask and be embarrassed. I thought you took her already.
What about Grit Breuer? I got even better one for you.
I wanted
if we're going from the American perspective, Chew, how dare you? What about Gerald Miles Clark?
So what I just said is when I turned my paper over, I found my other names, and she was the top of my list. I'm so mad.
Gerald Miles Clark, Sherry Howard. Anybody remember that name?
Sherry was a beast. I'm just mad I didn't take Privalova because I actually thought you took her already.
See, and I thought somebody was going to force me to take her because I had no problem doing it, because the greatest leadoff leg I've ever seen was when Gwen led off at 49 flat.
Yeah, and I don't disagree.
Yeah, but since you want to give me all 47s, I'll take them.
That's all right. I'm gonna have the only 45 leg.
Right.
Okay, so let me ask this question. If I tell you somebody ran 10-4 and 21-3, you gonna tell me they can't split 45?
Yeah.
Okay. You're a liar. If they ran for you, they better split 45.
That's 46. That's not 45. That's 46.
46-1.
That's what, not 45.
You know what? I'm all right. I'll take it. I'll take 46-1.
Okay.
Listen, for all of you fans out there who don't really get this inside joke, go watch the Seoul Olympics 4x4 final. And before you watch it, understand this. The young lady that we are talking about is hurting herself to not go past the Olympic champion in the 400. There was clearly a governor put on this woman's performance. We shall see. We educating fans out here.
We are. Are we putting them in order right now, or do we want to put them in order later?
Yeah, we can put them in order.
Okay, so Lamar, I heard that sigh. You've got Allison, Flojo, Briscoe, and Demas.
Demas is 1. Briscoe is 2. Allison is 2. Briscoe is 3. And Flojo is clearly bringing it to the house.
Got it.
45-8.
Yeah, you could have done better with that.
Not in the order. That's definitely the best order. Those 4 people, there's no shot. There's no way there's another order better than that one.
Sir Lucius, you've got Yarmy.
You don't have to repeat it. I know.
He doesn't. Okay. He doesn't care. He doesn't care.
I can run any order I like, but just for the sake of it, we'll go Nazarova to Coke to Brigzina to Yarmy, and the world record is like 305 or something.
I just want to ask this question: why would you not run Yarmy first?
Who?
Why would you not run Yarmila first?
Because I want to see her out front. Just curb stomp people from out front. That's why.
Lamar, can we at least agree that the world record might be 305, but they're getting DQ'd 10 minutes after the race?
No, 10 years.
The testing.
See, so I am not going to allow you guys to rain on my parade.
Oh, I'm not raining on anything.
So stop. Stop with the pettiness. Take your L like a man. And
I'm taking it. I'm good with it.
Give us your whack order and let's go.
My order, my team is pretty good. I feel good about my team. Chew, go ahead.
Yeah, Perek, Miller-Weibo, Richard Ross, and Gabara.
It is a good team.
Yeah.
That's a cute team. I respect them because they're a bronze medalist just like me.
I think
no question.
I think I'm gonna pop off Guevara. Shanae is gonna run 2. Sonia is going to run 3, and Yeah.
Correct.
Correct's going to anchor.
Oh,
Is she going to drag the flag around on the ground like she did in Atlanta?
When she runs down and forces the hamstring pull of the others, yeah, we're gonna make it happen.
Who is she running down? Who is she running down?
Whoever's see, it's a family show.
Listen, I'm just gonna educate
Micah's
you really
watching.
quick. Like,
Stop
no
it.
joke at
Micah's
all.
watching.
Parekh is an Olympic champion in the 400, 200 double, and she is without question the slowest anchor leg of the 3 anchor legs that have been mentioned. And nobody will argue that.
I'm not arguing it either. Who's she going to
So
run
she's
down?
not running anybody down.
Who's she going to run down? Whoever's
team?
No. Whoever's minis explode near the finish line.
See this guy. Anyway, next.
Okay.
Next.
So I'm going Sid to Nasser to Freeman and then finishing with Muhammad.
Well, Chew,
They
you
set the
haven't been there
NCAA
yet.
record.
When you go to the Olympics, they give you a participation thing and a medal. I can show you one, right? Because I got 10th in the first Olympics. It's nice, and you know, look, if you frame the relay of the world jersey or whatever it is,
Micah,
it'll look
close
nice
your
in your
eyes.
home.
Oh. Chew, listen to me, Chew. Listen. And I think Lucius is going to back me on this. I think he is.
Oh, here we go.
True. Listen to me. As of right now, you're 3 for 3 for 4th place. We are pulling for you on the men's 4x. We are rooting for you.
Honest to God, to be fair, I feel like on the men's 4x4, we should let you pick 1st and 2nd.
Nope. No.
She got to play by the same rules as everybody else. No.
Don't you dare disrespect her. So am I first in this relay?
I'm sorry.
You are now picking.
So y'all want to tell me who I'm picking because y'all know who I'm picking?
Yes, I know who you better
first.
pick.
Wait. He's first. I'm second.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm 4th. Thank you very much.
Hey,
I will get rid of this.
Can I go? You want to switch? You want to swap 2nd for 4?
No, we're not swapping. Just stay where you are. Okay, I am going to go with the greatest quarter mile to ever walk the planet in Mr. Michael Johnson.
I mean, if you had picked somebody else, there would have been a pause in the show as I flew to Gainesville and slapped you across the face on the screen.
I appreciate
it. And obviously, I am going to take the world record holder, Wade Van Niekerk.
I mean, that's cute.
All right, I have to wait fast.
I don't think that's a bad pick.
I mean, what other pick was there to make it number 2?
I mean, there is that.
Okay, a Chew.
I'm going with Butch Reynolds.
Going straight chalk.
Going for the
straight
Ohio
chalk.
boy. I
straight
see.
chalk.
Okay,
Chalk.
I see.
Oh.
With the Ohio boy.
Trying.
Oh my God.
Pseudo Florida Gator, what's up?
Yeah. These picks are important. All right. Well, my first pick is the best leadoff leg, so I'm going to take Andrew Valman.
That's fair.
And then,
Clyde is like, don't you dare take my guy. Clyde is like, don't you dare take my guy.
You know what it is. I feel like I could get there if he doesn't fuck it up. I feel like I could escape Chew's pick if he doesn't fuck this up.
Jay.
We're rooting for you, Chew. We're rooting for you.
Yeah, we are. But clearly he's got something in his cup tonight too. So
yeah, you know what? I'm gonna take the clean cut white boy. I'm gonna take Jeremy Warner.
I'm gonna say that took you way too long. Way too long.
Well, no, there's a legitimate conversation. That's why I didn't say anything.
Next pick is Miss Chew.
Wait, so he took Valman and Warner.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
I am going with.
Come on, Chew. This is an easy one, damn it.
Stephen Gardner.
Yes. Yes, I will take Quincy Watts.
Q, come on, Q.
I will take Quincy
Sorry.
Watts.
So I get 2 now?
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah, you get 2. Jesus.
Before you pick,
All right,
just for the record,
so-
I was gonna take Q and
I know that's what you were
Jeremy,
contemplating.
but I was like, but then I don't have Andrew, and like I need to have Andrew.
So I am going to take Mr. Ronald Freeman.
Ah, okay.
43-2 from 1968.
Okay.
And then I'm going to back that up with my main man, Antonio McQuay, Mr. 43-4 from London.
Okay.
I'm not
That's
mad
an
at it. I
interesting
like it.
pick. I like
like
it. I like it. It's interesting.
I
I'm not
was
sure what it means,
hoping-
but it's provocative.
I
See, I'm
was
just
hoping-
gosh.
and you know I want to punch you for taking my man Andrew. So we'll go. And then and
Absolutely.
I knew there was no way I was getting back to Q. I was going
No
to get back to
chance.
Q. There's no chance I was getting
Listen,
Q.
both
I passed
of
up
my
a 4350 guy to take Andrew.
Exactly.
but both of my last pick sleepers got taken off the board early, so now I'm gonna have to revamp. All right, so now I'm back up, right?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
God, that became so complicated.
Mhm.
You're welcome.
Damn it, Chew. I was trying to send you Quincy Watts vibes.
I keep looking at his name and then I bypass.
Yeah, like there was no way I thought that Quincy was going to give. I knew he wasn't getting back to me.
Yeah,
Mm.
no chance.
And that's what Clyde was looking at you like. Please don't take him because I don't think you will.
I
Exactly.
wasn't looking. I'm looking at my list.
Oh,
Yeah. All right. So
man,
who's up now?
this
Clyde.
is so complicated for me right now.
You better figure it out.
I feel like I can pull this off. I feel like I really can. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and take Lee Evans.
I'm gonna come through the screen and kick you in the throat. I'm so mad right now.
I'm gonna take Lee Evans off the board.
Smart move.
'Cause
'Cause I was hoping that you were too young to remember that because I was dang sure hoping that you got back to me.
No.
Definitely not getting past me.
No, yeah,
Right.
no, sorry.
Damn it.
I played the law of averages on that pick, and I think it's gonna play out well in my favor.
You know, I wrote the name down. I'm gonna go because I think he's on my other relay too, right? Yeah, he was. I'm gonna go with Mikey.
Saw that one coming.
I know.
Little West
And that's
Coast bias there.
That's a
It
cute
is. It is.
pick. That is.
I mean, it doesn't help that I've watched
So-
him run since he was in high school.
So your pick is what's called a layup in golf, and I'm gonna go for the green and 2.
You get 2 picks now?
Yeah,
I do.
he's finalizing his relay. This is
Yes.
important because this is
Well,
very much a race right now. All the
There's
way around.
no question that I'm taking John Wick on my relay. Every
Micah,
day.
close your eyes.
Absolutely taking Rye Benjamin.
You just did that
And-
to be petty.
No, I didn't. I believe. Now, the question here is, do I take a dude who's a relay monster and we're just basing life on relays because his open has always been just okay? Or do I take a dude who's been a phenomenal relay runner and has had some stinker relays because he was hurt and ran too long in life?
Oh, you're going there, man. You okay?
I mean, listen, at his peak, because we get peak, right? We get peak person.
Yeah.
Any day now.
Lucius is gonna.
You know
fall
what?
asleep.
You know what? I'm taking Karani James.
Damn you! You just took my last 2 picks. Like my last.
Well, I left you a couple really good ones.
Two, you're up.
I am. Because I'm not thinking, I can't think of any more, and I don't like the names that I have written down. I'm going with Fred Curley.
There it is.
You know what?
You are making Clyde's night.
Chew.
He loves
You just.
Clyde. You know, he already loves you, but he really loves you.
I mean, good God, Chew.
I'm listening.
I should have texted you some names.
I mean,
Damn it.
All right.
I'm gonna be mad.
I should have sent you the Florida top 10 relay splits, and you could done better on things you did.
Take him. Take that guy.
Yeah, he's not a bad choice.
Damn it.
Oh man.
He's only the third fastest guy in Florida history on the relay split.
Man,
Thought about it.
And then you took Fred Curley.
I know. I choked.
75th best relay runner ever in U.S. history. No offense, Fred. Just saying.
And leave my man Fred alone. Come on, Clyde.
I like Fred. Fred's gonna break more records.
Okay, it's Clyde's pick. Come on.
It is. And God, I didn't think I was gonna have the option of this.
Right. The embarrassment of riches now that you have to pick from.
It's not embarrassment of riches. This is a difficult decision because I can legitimately win this race right now.
I don't think you can, but
I feel really good about my team, but for the record, just so we're clear.
I think I can win this race. Oh man. This is interesting. Jesus. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take LaShawn. I'm gonna take LaShawn Merritt.
Really? That's what we waited for?
I was gonna say Angelo.
See, and Angelo's he's an interesting choice as well.
I was gonna say
I'll just be clear. I took
Can I make my last pick?
Yeah, but I thought you weren't ready. That's the reason I was talking. Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. Who are you gonna take? John Smith?
Actually, no, but I'm gonna take one of his proteges. I'm gonna take Steve Lewis.
There you go.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only reason I didn't take Angelo is because I didn't want to get booted on the fan vote for all the idiots who've only seen bad races, right? They don't get that, like, that dude was an absolute monster on the track.
Absolute monster. When you see what I'm going to do with my order, you might understand why.
And when you see what I do with my order, then y'all can all know you're going to be running for a second.
Can I have Jonathan?
You're running.
Can I have
You're
Jonathan
the first
Fortenberry
pick,
as
so
an
you got to
alternate?
come with the order.
Right. Okay. So easily. So I'm going to I'm going to get gone right away. Right. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to lead off Steve Lewis, who's at his prime is 43.8. Right. And then I'm going to come back with Mr. Tony McQuay, who is 43.4. Then I'm going to come back to Mr. Ron Freeman, who's 43.2. And then I'm going to anchor with Mr. Johnson, who's 42.9. And again, the diaper Daniels are probably going to vote against me because they don't have any common sense. But you ain't beating that relay.
None of them know who Freeman is. So
it's okay. I know who he is.
No, I do too.
They ain't beating
All right,
that
so
relay.
that means I have to go second, right?
You have to.
Okay. So the way I'm going to win this race
is your first problem right there.
Is strategic decisions. Okay. So we're gonna pop off because Lamar has a pop off monster and Lucius made a smart decision there. So I'm going to pop off Wade Van Niekerk and I'm going to be winning the race.
That's the only shot you have.
I'm going to be winning the race by a lot. Now, LaShawn by a lot. LaShawn Merritt is going to run second. Lee Evans is going to run third. And to clean up any problems, Quincy is going to anchor.
Okay.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely have not have run that order, but interesting.
Yeah. Very well
I'm
played.
going Reynolds, Norman.
Wait, stop.
Oh no!
Damn it!
No,
Stop.
you let it go.
Let
We
it
are
go.
all rooting for Chew.
I'm sorry.
Reynolds?
Go
Okay, so
ahead.
first
Chew.
of all, hold on a second. If he can lead off Wade, then she can lead off Butch because now she's going to be in second place
Sure. Okay, Butch
based
to
on
Mikey.
PR, right?
Then Curly, then Gardner.
That's not a bad relay. Leave her alone.
Come on
Okay.
with it. Third place, Lamar. Come on with it.
Third place. I'm sorry. Am I missing something?
Oh, you're missing a lot. John
Okay.
Wick might save you. John Wick might save you. You took him from me.
Okay.
Might
So
save you.
I'm gonna lead off the best lead off ever. I mean, look, not what we think he can do, right? The best guy to ever do it. So I'm gonna lead him off first.
So you're going to be
Right.
fourth.
Oh, definitely not gonna be fourth, but that's okay. I
You'll be
get it.
fourth. You're not beating Wade. You're not beating Steve.
I said okay.
Who are you leading
I-
off to?
I had
Butch.
Butch leading.
Yeah. Okay, we're good.
You're done.
I'm gonna
You're
lead
fourth.
off Andrew,
You're fourth.
and then I'm gonna run John Wick at 2.
And you're still fourth.
I'm definitely not fourth.
Yes, you are.
Oh, he gonna go get somebody.
Absolutely. What sort of?
Who's
I mean-
Hold on
Okay.
a second. He ain't getting you because you're 43 flat off the top.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay.
I'm
And
front
he's
runner.
not getting
I'm
me
straight.
because my second leg is going to run 43 low like his second leg is. So 43-2 don't catch
I'm good.
43-2. And his guy's
I'm
going to run
good.
43-2.
I said he gonna catch somebody. He wasn't.
I'm
fourth.
good. That's all I'm gonna say is I'm good.
Who's he catching?
Who? There's another team
know
in
what?
the race.
Who's your second leg?
The man's name
So
is
they're
John
talking-
Wick.
Okay, so he's going to catch Michael Norman? Oh, sure.
Wait, you know what? I'll bet money on that one.
Woo. He ain't catching Michael Norman.
That would be
I
interesting.
absolutely catch Michael Norman. And yeah, I said it, Mikey. I love you, but absolutely he will catch you.
Delusional.
Okay. Third. Who do I have left? Because my brain
You have
is
Jeremy
fried.
or
You don't know who your team is.
I have.
Either
Yes, I do.
What kind of
Jeremy or
coach is this?
Karani.
Oh, okay, that's easy. We'll run Jeremy at third, best third leg ever, and then we'll run Karani and see what we can do for the Nutmeg Island.
Third leg ever.
I mean,
Well, yeah, because he was deferring to his boy. To run
exactly, Daryl. And the funny part, is I
Once.
started to take Daryl.
Did
I
that
started to
once.
take Daryl.
Okay. All right.
it. No, he did it a bunch. I mean,
No,
they
he did
that
it a
dynamic
bunch.
a bunch of times.
Absolutely, no,
Once.
sir. Okay, their entire college career.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not talking about. Okay, anyway. Anyway,
All right.
at the international level, he did it once.
You know what? And he did it well once. So I'll take my squad and we will run. But I will say this. No chance I'm fourth. No
Third.
chance.
3.5, maybe.
Okay. Anyway, I just know this much, right? I think it's interesting that, like, guys like Daryl Williamson, who I think we all know, let's just be clear. If there's a stick involved, Daryl Williamson probably belongs on one of these relays. None of us were going to pick him, and I get why, right? But we all know in reality, if they raced a race, he probably belongs on one of these teams.
Oh, ultimate relay.
You know what I
bandit
mean?
Monster.
I mean,
He's
the
just a
dude
relay
split.
dog.
See, the thing is like the dude split 43-4. And so the other ones are based on because they've run fast open, you assume they're going to run fast in the relay. Because LaShawn Merritt has never run fast in a relay. Ever.
I agree with that completely.
Ever.
And that's why I said, like, I almost put Daryl on the relay, right? Just like I almost put Jonathan Fortenberry on the relay. Just because I've seen these dudes do ridiculous things on a relay. But right, I didn't know how fast Fortenberry's relay actually was. I just
fast.
saw it.
Oh,
You know
it
what I'm
was.
It wasn't
It
43.
Was it 43 something? Or was it 44 low?
It was 44.
It was 44 1 or 0, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Right. So then that's not fast enough to make the relay because I'm leading off in 44-0.
No, I mean he was a baby though. He wasn't, grown.
And that was his best year.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's what you get him as.
Well, so like last week, I will post these on our social medias and we will hear from the crowd. And
This is going to be interesting.
See what happens.
It's going to be a very interesting battle between me and Lucius. And then whatever y'all got going on in the back is something else.
Yeah.
See,
Okay.
the key for me is, can Steve stay close enough to wave? That's the
that is the key to the race.
What's your relay again, Chuck? I mean, sorry, Clyde.
I'm popping off with the world record holder.
We got that. What's after that?
I understand the point about LaShawn, and it's a good point. That's why he's running second with this lead that he's not going to want to give up.
You see, but the problem you have is because of how he runs relays, you're then going to let me back in the race.
Yes.
Oh, you're going to get back in it. But then I got Lee Evans. And since.
So Lee Evans go, okay, I'm good.
Okay. And so in my world, Quincy's getting the stick ahead of MJ.
So here's what I'm saying. Like, I think if my team is racing, if my team is racing Clyde's team, I think I'm ahead of you after 3 legs.
What?
Because you're up by a second after the first leg. I agree, but John Wick's gonna run extends down.
Listen.
He's not a relay dude.
Don't talk to me about Wick.
Disrespect that, man. That's
Don't talk to me about John Wick. You know I'm salty.
Is not a relay dude.
Okay, like I said, I've never seen, like, LaShawn does what's required on relays. Let's just say with it.
Exactly what's required. There you go.
So what's going to happen is Mr. Freeman is going to run up on him. He is. That when we hand off, it's going to be together. I promise you that. And who's your third?
I mean, listen.
Lee Evans.
And I Tony, when Tony's at his best, him and Lee, that's a battle. 43-2 is pretty salty.
Wow.
But you got to give the nod to Lee. I mean, like you put together a very formidable relay. Of the four relays you put together over the last 2 weeks, that was by far the best one you put together. Not even close.
Women's 4x1 is still the best one I got.
No
chance.
No. Dude, your women's 4x1 can't hold a candle to that 4x4 you just put together.
Yeah,
No, stop it. Stop it. Stop drinking your bias juice or whatever this in that cup you are. Stop it.
Go.
This will be fun.
No.
This will be fun.
Hey. No. Heck no.
I will say that we all unfortunately will concede the women's 4x4 because that's a joke.
Yeah, look, I don't even want to talk about it. I don't even know why you posted that one, because y'all gave me the 4 fastest.
Oh no, look, we gonna post that one and see.
Oh yeah, because you and your diaper daddies they're gonna vote for you. What they do?
And I definitely think I got one of the 3 fastest relay legs of all time.
Who?
No governor tonight, baby.
Anyways.
Officially, she's 48 flat, and there she shall remain, my friend.
Blow Joe, let it loose,
I'm
baby.
on the hot seat tonight, aren't I?
No.
Yeah.
Wait.
It ain't me.
I know.
It's got to be me.
Oh, it's got to be
okay.
you.
Yeah, it's got to be me.
Uh-oh, who were the questions built for?
You.
Do you want me to go since the questions are built for me?
You could retire hot seat for the week because it's been,
Yeah, I know it is a little long. We are a little long, so I will. We'll omit hot seat this week. I messed up. I don't know how I messed that up.
All right, so Sir Lucius is on the hot seat for next week. We got
next week. Yes, I will write that down and make sure it stays. But I will not let us forego heartbeat props because we gotta give some love. It's February. It's a month of love. There's a lot of things to be celebratory for this month. I would like to go first on the day of recording, not the day of publication. It is National Girls and Women in Sport Day. So my heartbeat props go out to all the young ladies, all the single digit girls, the adolescents, and then the women who are still competing, those who are advocates and those who are in administrative positions. I appreciate you because you all have paved the path for me to be where I am right now, to be able to encounter, endure, and prosper through the things that I will be encountering in the years coming, hopefully for a long time. I am appreciative for those who put their egos aside and put their pride aside to be different, to challenge the molds, and to be vulnerable, I guess is the best way to say it, is just to lay it all out there for themselves to be ridiculed and whatnot, and physically harmed in some situations for females in sport. So my heartbeat props go out to all of you, all females. Next.
I'll go next. I want to give my heartbeat props to a group of people. I'm going to give it to my staff. And I'm not just talking about my assistant coaches. I'm going to talk about my director of ops, Ms. Trace LeGros, Andrew Schutte, her assistant, my staff proper, my assistant coaches, my associate head coach, my training staff, Andy Clock and Yolanda Lawrence, my weight room staff with Mr. Matt Delancey. The hard work and dedication they've done in keeping this program running over through the pandemic, coming out of the, trying to come out of the pandemic and getting back to competing has just been unmatched. I thank them for putting up with my last minute decisions to change things. I praise them greatly for the changes they've had to endure, and they've never flinched, for the long hours, for the upset parents, for the crying athletes and everything they've dealt with in the last few months. We would not be anywhere near where we need to be without the help of so many. And I just want to thank everybody for what they've done to get us going.
I'll go next. I made an allusion to this group earlier in the show. And I don't know why I woke up kind of thinking about this, maybe because just recently my dad's birthday happened and he's 73, but my heartbeat props go out to the thankless masses in track and field, the officials. They travel, across the country for, in a great situation, like a rain parka and a sandwich. In some cases, it's literally just a sandwich. Sometimes they get a cool hat, but at the end of the day, only the starters actually get paid, and that is pennies for the amount of work that they do. And they do a thankless job. Like, everybody pretty much doesn't know officials, or they hate an official because they feel like they were wronged by one. And usually they got it right and we messed it up. Let's just be honest. Usually. Officials are, I don't want to say a dying breed because I don't like that term, but they're becoming tougher and tougher to replace, because most of the officials from our lifetimes, they didn't just start out being officials. They were track athletes, and some of them were track coaches, and they really know the sport, and they're really invested in like the betterment of the sport as a whole. And again, they do a job that is truly thankless, and in most cases they love it. And if you try to do more for them, they're usually like, no, I'm good. This is what I do. This is my exercise. This is how I like to, I get to travel the world. And I'll just say, like, listen, I can't give a bigger congratulatory hug and a thank-felt hug to all of the officials out there in this country who, let's be clear, the average official is in the danger zone as it pertains to COVID. And they, without vaccines all of last year when track was going on, and all of the cross season and all these different times that we've tried to participate in track, they have been there doing a truly thankless job and literally risking their lives to do so. So I can't stand on a soapbox and be loud enough to say anything other than we love them and we thank them for all that they do to help make track meets go on seamlessly.
Well said. I had a different heartbeat props plan for the night, but given the way the show has gone, I think I'm gonna go with this one. Like I said, the club scene is foundational to our sport, and there are a lot of examples around the country of folks who do it the right way and do it well. And no better example for my money than Miss Marty Adams and the crew down there in Raleigh, North Carolina, who run the Track Explosion, that's with an X, track club. Miss Adams is everything that's right about this sport at the youth level. They work with kids all the way from four years old up to 18. And it's not just about, you know, how fast can the babies run and having fun in the summertime. Like, she legitimately spends an exorbitant amount of her time making sure that the older kids are prepared to move on to the next level and get them kids into college. And so Miss Adams and the crew down there in North Carolina, please keep doing what you do, because you are a fantastic example for everybody to follow.
Well said.
Good stuff tonight, gentlemen. Good stuff. Well, we've definitely had a complete roller coaster of emotions and fun and engagement and everything over the last I think just short of 2 hours. So good times, good times. We will wrap it up on that note. We'll enjoy some ATL track followed by a small game of football after the fact. And then reconvene after that to break it all down one more time.
Hashtag may the best GOAT win on Sunday.
Right.
There's only one GOAT, no matter the result on Sunday.
Hey, all I know is
that was just a petty shot at you. That's all. There's nobody in their right mind that can discount what Tom Brady has done and what he's meant to the sport of football. Nobody can do that. And if they do, they're just
track and field and stay for the football.
Exactly.
Yeah.
ATL first. Don't watch the Super Bowl without watching the ATL first.
Yeah. Love it. All right, gentlemen. Well, you all have a great week. Anybody traveling this weekend, travel safe, wear your mask, use that sanitizer. And other than that, have a good one. We'll see you again next week.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents smash the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth pin them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics, LLC, there's no others. Track and field's place and we'll peel to go further. Hey, Wile E. Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these four corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to you? Circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass it, failed, and sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics, LLC, the task force.